The the Raiders at the Patriots.
That was a weird game.
It was a weird game. What most people pegged for a beatdown turned into actually kind of a dogfight. 16-9 victory for the Patriots.
The Skowskis all got scores.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. All of the scores in that game came via a person named Kowski, whether it have been
Rob Gronkowski,
Steven Gostkowski, or Janikowski.
Definitely Janikowski.
Yeah, all of the scores were by those people. So,
is this the end of Brady? Are we really seeing Brady on the decline?
I don't know if it's Brady so much as it is just that the state of that team right now. We've kind of seen this before. Even last year, they started kind of slow. I mean, they were winning games, but their offense hasn't been that prolific the past couple seasons. Gronk has been their main target. He's been kind of banged up. Looks like he might get back to form this year.
I mean, it's just Gronk and Edelman. I mean, who else is he throwing to?
It's true. I mean, the receivers on the outside are not that great.
I think he's missing Randy Moss and Wes Welker.
You're going to miss those guys. They're prolific guys. But at the same time, I still think they're going to, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, they're going to win the division, in my opinion. They're going to be there at the end, and then when they get to the playoffs, I mean, that's just not a team that I still don't want to, have to play Tom Brady, especially in Foxborough. I don't know if they'll end up getting home field advantage with the way they're playing right now.
Who else in the East? You got the Jets, Patriots,
the
Miami,
Dolphins, and the Bills.
Who
are 2-1.
Yeah, I didn't like what I saw out of the Bills.
And speaking of which, that's a good segue, because the next game is
the San Diego Chargers at the Buffalo Bills.
Boom.
Phillip Rivers aggravates me.
Rivers.
He either finds a way to win or he finds a way to lose. And, I mean, you just can't trust him. Because then you go into a game against Seattle last week, right? And everybody expected, they're not going to win. Seattle, Legion of Boom, Phillip Rivers. I think he's an average quarterback. Not great, but good. I mean, he's better than a lot.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, EJ Manuel, I mean, he was overthrowing receivers all game long.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll have some of that. He's a second-year guy, still kind of getting used to the offense. With speaking of EJ Manuel, I figured they would have a hard time with the Chargers defense coming off a big win against Seattle. I will kind of disagree. Man, I used to not be able to stand Phillip Rivers. But then I watched some of his post-game interviews. He's always rocking that bolo tie, and he's just talking like a cowboy. And
he wears short athletic shorts when he plays beer league softball.
He's funny. I mean, the guy, he's funny. But when he's out on the field, you gotta admire. He's a competitor. He gets fired up. I think he's better than okay. I think he's a really good quarterback. He's been, for the past few. He had a couple years where he kind of dipped. And then last year he played outstanding. This year I think he's back on track. As much as I hate to say it, he's going to have the Chargers in the thick of it come playoff time. They're 2-1, tied with Denver in the division right now.
They got lucky last year. They shouldn't have been in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean,
the Chiefs' backups should have won. I mean, there was a penalty at the end of the game. That field goal shouldn't have counted, or that block shouldn't have counted.
They snuck in. But ended up beating the Bengals in the wild card round. So, Speaking of Bengals, Titans at Bengals.
One of the three remaining undefeated.
By the way, who'd you pick in that game?
In the Chargers game, I picked Buffalo. Buffalo.
Aha! I picked the Chargers. So
I like what Buffalo's got. Fred Jackson, CJ Spiller.
They got a good defense.
I like Sammy Watkins Jr., EJ Manuel. I think they got it. I think they're going to be a good team.
They are. They're young. But I just like the Chargers in this game. I just think the Chargers are a better team overall. So next, Bengals, Titans. I picked the Bengals in this game. Really, I mean, the argument could be made that the Bengals through 3 games have been the most consistent team. They put people away pretty handily. They played the Falcons and they beat them, pretty handily. That's kind of their big game for their resume so far. Not too. I mean, yeah, they put it to the Titans last week. Andy Dalton caught a touchdown pass. We talked about that. That was kind of funny. You saw that play. It looked like he was about to get lit up or take. The defender couldn't decide whether he wanted to intercept it or he wanted to lay him out, so he didn't either. It was bizarre.
You know, when I first heard Andy Dalton kind of touchdown, I was thinking more like goal line.
Yeah.
Kind of. No, I mean, that was 25.
It's got some wheels, man. See, like, acceleration took that right to the pylon, and he's on my fantasy team. I think I get fantasy points for Andy Dalton.
Sneaky athleticism.
Sneaky athleticism from the ginger. Yes.
The red-haired gunslinger.
The Red Rocket. So, yeah, the case could be made. I think the Bengals are... I mean, as a Broncos fan, obviously, I think the Broncos, unbiasedly, are the best team in the AFC right now. Obviously, the record doesn't show it. We just lost to Seattle, up in Seattle. We'll get to that. But I think the Bengals are up there, right at the, top two spots.
I feel the Bengals are going to make the playoffs, but like any other Marty Schottenheimer team, I don't think they're going to go far.
Schottenheimer, is he there?
No, he's not with them, but Marty Schottenheimer could never make it to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so he's just comparing them to Marty Schottenheimer.
Yeah,
I mean, they have not, this is Andy Dalton's, I think they're going to win that division. I think they're the best team in that division. We'll see what they do in the playoffs. Andy Dalton is 0-5 in the playoffs, I think. Or Marvin Lewis is. I don't know.
Then again, Joe Flacco had the same problem.
Flacco. That's a different story. But anyways, Bengals are rolling. And I think we both picked Cincinnati in that game.
I did pick Cincinnati.
Indeed.
Now we have my favorite game of the week. Washington, Philadelphia. Yeah. 34-37.
Bonanza.
Deshaun Jackson of the Redskins didn't even know the Redskins lost until after the game. Until later he found out. But you know what? Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins.
Talk about him.
Kirk Cousins is the perfect fit for this offense. Yes, RG3 has that talent. Yes, he does. But he is injury prone.
He is.
They need to get rid of him. They need to keep Kirk Cousins, who fits well with Jay Gruden's schemes. I mean, you saw that. That's 34. I started Cam Newton this week instead of Kirk Cousins. Start Kirk Cousins.
I played this guy in fantasy.
I lost by 2 points.
2 points.
All I had to do was start Kirk Cousins. That's what happens when you don't start Kirk Cousins. You lose by 2 points.
But, I mean, let's be honest. Who was going to start Kirk Cousins? I mean, maybe a few people did, but hey. But yeah, I think I kind of touched on it last week in my video. I think that this injury,
it could be a blessing.
RG3, God bless him, speedy recovery, but it just seems like what Kirk Cousins brings to the table just fits better. RG3 is a supremely more talented athlete, but Kirk Cousins does a good job. I mean, he didn't win, but the bottom line, he didn't win. I mean, what, he go 8-8 last year, something like that. So that's the knock against him, is that he, he's good, but he doesn't win you
his first season he looked really good at the stretch when RG3 got his first injury.
Right.
Then last year he had his problems, sophomore slumps. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be a pretty good quarterback. Last week, I wasn't here last week to talk about this, but all 3 Michigan State quarterbacks last week who started won a game.
Michigan State.
I think Kirk Cousins,
shout out
Brian
to
Hoyer.
Michigan State.
I don't even know who the third guy was, but you know what? Good for him. Good for the Spartans.
So, we talked about the Redskins, but hey, they lost this game. The Eagles...
is that offense ever going to slow down?
The Eagles, 3-0, and they keep winning. They keep winning in interesting fashion. That offense, they're scoring. I think they're scoring the most points in the league
second half
this year by far. They're like over. I think they scored over 30 points a game every game.
They're the best second half team in terms of offense.
Best offensive team in terms of numbers right now.
And did you hear the comment that one of their players made that they were too tired in the first half? So you're too tired in the first half. How are you kicking it in the second half?
Kerry
the
Williams,
best second half team.
I don't know. Kerry Williams made some comments this week about if you don't take care of your players during the week, you're going to come out flat or something like that. It's like, well, you're going to be. They do that to be well conditioned, and if you're if you're the team that's playing better at the end of the game, then you're the better conditioned team. You know, like he doesn't need to be complaining about that. But anyways, I went Eagles in this game.
Wait, we didn't. Oh, we did do Cincinnati, didn't we?
We did.
Eagles. I went Washington. I believed in Kirk Cousins. I believe he could do it with this game, and they almost had it.
It was a close game. I did pick Philly because I thought it'd be a shootout. It was. I picked the Eagles because they were at home, and they pulled it out. So, I can't remember. I've lost 2 games so far. I don't remember how many I've won.
We'll go over it at the end.
But yeah.
San Francisco at the Cardinals. This game surprised me.
My Arizona Cardinals, boo!
I mean, I did pick Arizona to win, but I thought it was going to be a lot closer than 14-23. San Francisco went up 14 points quick, but Drew Stanton. Who is this kid?
The journeyman.
Who is this kid?
I mean, I've always kind of, like, I don't know. I've liked Drew Stanton. I will, I kind of got to bite my tongue this week because my prediction was that if Carson Palmer played, that the Cardinals would win this game, and that if Drew Stanton started, that the 49ers would win this game. Drew Stanton looked really good in this game. He makes decisive throws. He doesn't turn it over. That's been the knock against Carson Palmer, is Carson Palmer can make some really good throws, push the ball down the field, but he will also make some mistakes and turn the ball over. And this Arizona team, if they don't turn the ball over, they're built to beat you. Their defense is really good, and that's what you saw against San Francisco.
I feel Carson Palmer's one of the last of an old breed, kind of that Brett Favre area. You throw it deep, you let your receiver make the play,
right?
And it's go big, go home, pretty much.
I can kind of see that. So. And I saw an interesting article on NFL.com today. I can't remember who wrote it, but talked about how he thinks as long as Drew Stanton keeps winning, that he should be the starter moving forward until he, either has a breakdown or something. He's just been solid. He's been reliable. He's winning the team games.
Does that put a knock on Carson Palmer? Because now he's with Arizona, he was with Oakland, and he was with Cincinnati.
Yeah,
And those were messy situations.
He's acceptable, and he can, he's better than, probably 16 of the other quarterbacks.
I'd probably rather have Carson Palmer than Alex Smith. I'm going to go on the record for that.
Wow.
Carson Palmer
you
over
heard it
Alex
here
Smith.
First. Carson Palmer over Alex Smith.
Now, he doesn't fit Andy Reid's offense, yes. But in terms of, I want that guy, I want my deep threat. You got Jamal Charles. I don't want these 10, 15-yard routes, being safe. I want him to throw that ball deep. Touchdowns, interceptions.
Well, you ain't got the personnel for it in Kansas City.
No, Dwayne Bowe's your only deep threat, and then Donnie Avery. The Chiefs are fine the way they are, but if things had turned out different,
So, in this game, 49ers, Cardinals. Cardinals get the victory. They're one of 3 undefeated teams left. It's my NFC team. I like the Cardinals. Be interesting to see. They got a bye week this week. Denver has a bye week this week. See what happens in week 5 when they play each other in Denver. If Carson Palmer will be healthy, and if he is healthy, do you play him?
Is Arizona legit, though?
Yeah, I think they are. They won 10 games last year. They're a good team.
They were they missed the playoffs.
They did, but they won 10 games. They were just in a really good division. The NFC West was the best division in football last year. I don't know if they are this year. The 49ers, I think, have maybe lost a step. But.
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick, Jim Harbaugh, I think it's a downside. I think if Brady Hoke gets fired at Michigan, I think Jim Harbaugh might leave and go take the Michigan job. Gives him all the power he wants, lets him do it his way, and
a little bit of college inside. I don't usually bring that to the table, but here you go. All right, so what did you think about that Sunday night game? Steelers and Panthers.
That game killed me, especially in terms of fantasy. Since I started Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Newton. Cam. The Pittsburgh defense, they were in Cam's face all game. Cam left the game.
They balled
pretty
out.
Much to prevent him from getting injured.
Right. Yeah, I think it was kind of just a safety decision.
And that Pittsburgh defense looked like the Pittsburgh defense of old.
Speaking of Pittsburgh and defense and old, guess who's coming? Did you see who they're?
Jerome Harrison asked his kids.
James Harrison is coming back. Gosh, dislike that man
He,
so
he
much.
asked his kids, "Hey, kids, should I play one more year in the NFL?" And I guess they said
yeah,
yes.
Dad, you should.